Okay. Yes. Now in the last class, so I said about what is HTTP response and HTTP request is, and even I said how to write multiple views within the application, how to write a multiple views within the application, and after that I said how to configure and install. Okay. Yes. This is one more example. Yesterday I said like how to create a project and how to create the application. So next we'll see. So here, so whenever you are talking about URL mapping, or you call it as URL routing, okay, URL routing or URL mapping. So URL mapping or URL routing. So this URL routing or URL mapping can be done in two places. So what is URL routing? First of all, you should know that. What is URL routing is? Yes, ma'am. So what is URL routing here is? Yeah. So what is URL routing? So URL routing is nothing but, see here, what is URL routing? It is nothing but, so URL routing is nothing but, so URL routing or mapping, URL routing or mapping is nothing but, so mapping URL, okay, mapping URL with what? View. So URL routing or mapping is nothing but mapping URL with what? View. So client access the view using URL, and this URL mapping is done using py. So URL routing or mapping is nothing but mapping URL with what? View. So client access the view using URL, and this URL mapping is done using URLs.py. It is done by using URLs.py. So this URL mapping or routing is done at one is a project level. This is done at project level, or this is done at what here? Application level. But actually the entry point is, what is the entry point is here? Project level. It means always your server search for, always your server search for. Mapping is nothing but assigning. Mapping is nothing but assigning. Mapping is nothing but assigning. What is the meaning of mapping here? Assigning. Mapping is assigning or giving. Linking. Mapping is nothing but linking. So you are linking what here? View. You have a view, and this view you are linking with one URL. So this is called as what here? Mapping. Okay, linking this view with one name. This name is called URL name, and this is called as what here? Mapping. URL mapping. Understood? URL mapping is nothing but linking. What you are linking here? View. You are linking the view with what here? URL. So that is called as a mapping, That is called as what here? Linking. Okay, right? So this URL mapping or routing is done at two levels. One is at which level here? Project level. And one more is at which level? Application level. But actually entry point is at which level? Project level. Entry point is project level. Always, okay, always search, always server, okay, always server search, server search or lookup the URL. Server always search or the lookup URL in urls.py defined at which level? Project level, not at which level? Application level. Even though you define the URLs at application level, that URLs must be included at which level? Project level. So now till now we developed two applications and we define that URLs at which level? Project level. We define that URLs at project level because in project there is one file. What is that file is? urls.py. This is called as URL configuration file. urls.py. urls.py is called which file here? URLs configuration file, or it is called as URLs. Okay, URLs mapping. So mapping what here? File. It is called URLs configuration file, or it is called as a URLs mapping file. But whenever you whenever you enter the URL within the browser, so what your browser, what whenever you type the URL and press enter, now you are sending the request to what? Server. What your server is looking for? URL. But where it is looking for URL at project level, defined in which file here? urls.py. It is in one module called urls.py. So then what is the advantage? What is the advantage of defining URLs at which level? Application level. So here URLs can be defined. URLs can be defined at URLs can be defined at what here? Application level. Application level. So what is the advantage? What is the advantage of defining? So what is the advantage of defining URLs at which level? Application level. But you write at application level, but those application URLs has to be included at which level? Project level. Because your server doesn't search for urls.py at which level? Application level. It search for the urls.py at which level? Project level. Then what is the advantage of defining URLs at which level? Application level. So one is what? Modularity. One is modularity and second one is easy to what here? Maintain. One is modularity and one more is what? Easy to maintain. Easy to maintain. Okay, so not only that, modularity, easy to maintain, and one more is what? Reusability also there. Reusability, modularity, easy to maintain, and one more is what? Reusability. So what is the meaning of this here? For example, your project is having multiple applications. For example, your project is having multiple applications. So assume that, okay, there is application one, okay, there is application, okay, assume that there is application one, there is application two, okay, there is application three. So your project is having three applications, okay, assume that this is application one and assume that this is application two, okay, assume that this is what here? Application three. Suppose if you define your URLs at which level? Project level. This is project level. So at project level, you have urls.py. So what do you do it? You map. What do you do it? You map all the views. You map all the views with the URL in what? URLs dot py. And this is at which level here? Project level. This is at project level. Means you need to define the URLs for each and every view defined in application 1, application 2, and what? Application 3. Where you are defining in one one URLs dot py. So it becomes somewhat difficult to understand which view belongs to which application. Yes, it is somewhat difficult to understand which view belongs to which application, which view belongs to which application, right? So because of that, what do you define it? You define the URLs. Okay, you define the URLs at which level? Application level. Now you create one URLs.py. So, but by default, it doesn't give you URLs.py module. You create a URLs.py at application level. That is in application 1. You define URLs.py. In application 2, you define the URLs.py. In application what here? 3. You define the URLs.py. In application 1, you define the URLs.py. In application 2, you define the URLs.py. In application 3. And then you include this URLs.py at which level? Project level. You include this URLs.py at which level? Project level. So that if any changes in URLs of application 1, I do changes in URLs.py of which one? Application 1, without doing changes at which level? Project level. If any changes in application to URLs, I do changes in URLs.py at which level? Application 2, without doing changes at which level? Project level. In the same way, any changes in URLs.py of application 3, I do changes in URLs.py of what? Application 3, without doing changes in what? A project level. And you can easily identify which URL is belongs to which application. So maintaining URLs becomes what here? Easy. So this is called as modularity. Rather than writing all the URLs at project level, rather than writing all the URLs at which level? Project level, you are dividing into what? Number of URLs. Writing at which level? Application level. Understood? So, but either you write it application level, but that should be included at which level? That should be included at which level? Project level. Because whenever you send a request, okay, so whenever you send a request, right? So whenever client send a request, so client send a request using a browser or not? Yes. So whenever client send a request, whenever client, so this is a client, right? So whenever so whenever client send a request, so what your server is looking for? Your server is looking for this URL at which level? Project level only. So this is an entry point. This is an entry point where it is move from one place to another. Correct or not? So it look for at project level, but not at which level? Application level. So the URLs which defined at application level, that URLs has to be included in which level? Project level. So for that, DJANGO.URLs module provide a function called include. URLs.DJANGO.URLs. Yes. You understood up to this, right? All of you understood? Okay, so what is URL mapping? So URL mapping or URL routing is nothing but mapping URL with what? View. It means always the client calls the view by using what? URL. URL is nothing but public name. URL is nothing but public name or a path. URL is nothing but a public name or what? Path. Path. URL is nothing but public name. Don't think something else, right? URL is nothing but resource name. URL, uniform resource locator, means you just give the resource name, right? So URL is nothing but What is this here? Public name. Public name, or what is that? Path. It is nothing but a public name or a path of the view. It is nothing but public name or path of the view. So always you map only views. Okay. Which one is configured in urls.py? Only views. Only views. You don't map any other things. Because view is the module which control the execution of what a web application. Means who's taking the input here? View. Who's generating the output here? View. So anything you want to write in web at the back end, I should write everything in what? View. You should write everything inside the view. So for configuring URLs, for configuring, so for configuring URLs, okay, URLs. So Django dot URLs module provides, okay, Django dot URLs module provides various what functions. Okay, the first one is a path. Okay, first function is what here? Path. And second one is what here? Include. First one is a path and second one is what? Include. So two things are there here. What is the first one is here? Path. And what is the second one is? Include. So what is the difference between this path and what? Include. Okay. So yesterday we created a project, right? So yesterday we created one project. So what is this project here? Project 2. There is a project, and within the project 2, you have urls.py or not? Yes. So in this, what you have? URLs. In urls.py, what you have? URL. What is a URL? Name. URL is nothing but name or path of a view. Name or path of the view. Because you always send a request to what? You always send a request to what? View. You always send a request to what? View. Remember this. A view is acts as a controller. View acts as a controller. Okay, view acts as a controller. Suppose this is your Facebook. Now where you enter email ID and you enter which one? Password. You click on which one? Login. When you click on login, what will happen? This input, right? Input is nothing but, what is input? Request. Input is nothing but request. Now this request you are giving to what? This input you are giving to what? Backend. This input you are giving to what? Backend. Backend. What is a backend now? Django. It means who will receive the request? Who will receive the request? View. Who will receive the request? View. Now here you write one view. What is the name of the view? Login. What is the name of the view? Login. You are sending this request to which view? Login view. And this login view receive this request, process it, and generates which one? Output. So what is the responsibility of the view? Request and response. View is a function. I already said, again I'm telling you. Okay. A view is nothing but a function. Or view is nothing but what? Class. How many ways you can develop view? 2 ways. One is function based view and one more is what? Class based view. Okay, the view responsibility is taking the input, and here this input is nothing but what? Request. View responsibility is taking the input, and this input is nothing but what? Request. And after taking the request, what it will do? Process it. After taking the request, what it will do? Process it. And after processing, what it will do? Response. Response is nothing but what? Output. So that is a responsibility of which one? View. Understood? So request and response processing is done by which one here? View. Understood? Okay. So that is a view. So how you call that view? From here, front end, you should call a view, right? How you call the view? By using one name or not? Yes, that name is called URL. And where you define that URL? URLs.py. Where you define that URL in? URLs.py. Understood? That name you define in one file. What is the name of that module? URLs.py is the name of the module. That is the name of the module, right? Okay. Yes. So please try to understand. So there are two functions are there. One is a path and one more is what? Include. So what is a path function is doing? Just open this, open in notepad. Okay. So what path function is doing here? You have, now what is the name of the function here? Path. So what is the use of path? Path function is used for defining what? URL. It is used for defining URL or mapping URL with what? View. You are mapping URL with what here? View. Views here. Now here you are saying deposit. What is a deposit is? View. What is deposit is here? View. This is called as view and this is called as what? URL pattern. This is called as what here? URL pattern and this is called as which one? View. This URL pattern also called what? URL. This URL pattern also called which one? URL. Is a public name or not? It is a public name or not? Yes. Getting on. So two functions are there. Okay, how you are adding URL to your view? By using URL. How you are adding URL to the view? By using which function? Path function. So what is a path function is? So path function, this function is used. Okay, this function is used to define, okay, to define what? URL, to define URL pattern for, to define the URL pattern for what here? View. To define the URL pattern for what? View. That is defined by using which one? Path. This function is used to define URL pattern for view. So URL pattern is a name. URL pattern is a name, given to what? Views. As a name given to the view, so that you can call it as URL pattern. So how you define that? By using path. How you define that? Using path. So what is the syntax of path is? You are saying path. Okay, it is a predefined function. And then URL pattern is what here? String. URL pattern is what here? String. URL pattern is a string and it followed by what here? View. It followed by the view name. So this view can be either class based. This view can be either what? Function based. This view can be either class based. This view can be either what? Function based. So that is done by using one function called which one? Path. Creating routes or anything. Yes. That is routing is nothing but mapping view with what here? Some name. That is mapping. Okay. So next one is, there is one more function is there. What is the name of the function? Include. So include is there. Include is a again. So this function is used. This function is used for including URLs. For including URLs defined at which level? At which level? Application level. Including URLs defined at which level? Application level. Application level are available in any other what here? Project. Available in what? Any other project. Okay. So what is the syntax? What is the syntax of include is? Okay. What is the syntax of include is? You are just writing include. So what is the name of the function is? Include. It followed by what is the file name here? urls.py. urls.py. What is the name of the file here? urls.py. This file is available at which level? Application level. So application name dot, what is that? URLs. Application name dot URLs. Okay, which one you are including? URLs which are defined at which level? Application level. URLs defined at which level? Application level, by using which one? Include. Application level using what? Include. Okay. So here you are writing a URL pattern and then mapping with what here? View. And there is a include, and you are saying application name dot what? URL. But where you use this include in? Where you include this URLs in? Project level. This is URLs defined at which level? Application level. And this URLs you include at which level? Project level. Project level. So this include function is used at which level? Project level. This include function is defined, or include function is at at which level? Project level. It is used at which level? Project level. So in project level means in project urls dot py, what you write it? You'll say path. You can directly give the URL pattern of this view. Okay, this is one way. You directly give the URL pattern of this view. But already this URL patterns of this view is defined at which level? This URL pattern of this view is defined at which level? Application level. Then you access that URLs by using one pattern. You access that URLs by using one pattern, and this is URL pattern. This is URL pattern which is used at which level? Project level. It means finally server is trying to access. Finally server is trying to access the URL pattern. Server is trying to access the URL or search for the URL pattern at which level? Project level. Then again you have to route it. Means you need to include the URLs defined at which level? Application level, by saying include. Now here you are using include. Include what is that? Application name. Include what name here? Application name dot what? URLs. It means these URLs you are accessing with this particular name. These URLs you are accessing this with this name or this URL. This is which level URL? Project level. This is which level URL? Application. How you access these URLs? By using this name. How you access these URLs? By using what? This name. Let me do it practically. But whenever you define the URL pattern, that should be end with what here? Slash. You have to write what here? Slash. What is a slash is? What is a slash indicates? What is a slash indicates? Suppose whenever you assume that what is a slash indicate? Slash means, for example, if you see any path if you see, for example, if you see your folder structure, if you see, you'll say C:\\. Okay, there is one folder name. What is the name of the folder? Folder 1 \. Correct or not? Backslash is what here? Separator. This is called as which separator? Path separator. This is called which separator? Path separator. You are separating the path by using what here? Forward slash. You are separating the path by using which one? Forward slash. Now you have to give what here? Forward slash. It's called as which separator? Path separator. It is a separator. This is nothing but what here? Separator. And you are separating it by using which one? Slash. You are separating with what here? Slash. Okay. So that is called as a forward slash. Yes, separate path. Our path separator is given by using forward slash. Okay, now suppose, see here. Okay, suppose now this is your different applications here. See here. So let us see with the example, like defining. So let us see with the example, like defining at which level. Okay, defining at which level, application level, and including that at which level, project level. But you have a clarity here. Is it clear or not? So what I'm doing is, so again I'm creating a project. I will run two projects. Two projects you run and check the. Have you run two projects in your system? Yes or no? How you run? How you run two projects? Uh, how you run two projects? How you run two projects? Python manage.py only. But how you run? No. How to run two projects you want to run? How you run the two projects? Open two command prompts. Open what? Two command prompts. You open two command prompts. Open two command prompts. And in each prompt you run the server with the same port number or different port number. Getting on, in one system you can run multiple projects, but you run multiple projects not with the same port number, but you run with what? Different port number. Understood है? एक बार चेक करो यार, क्या करते हैं आप लोग? Yes, what do you do here? Okay, एक बार चेक करे तो कुछ होता है क्या? Okay, because you develop two projects. Now you open two browsers. Open two browsers and send a request to one project, send a request to another. You're developing banking application, e-commerce. You want to check both. Run both the projects and test it. But not with the same port number, right? You have to run with a different port number. How you change the port number? How you change the port number? Python manage.py run server port number. Run server port number means each service, each server or each project provide different. Yes. Understood? Okay. So now again I'm creating a project. So again I'm creating a project. So this is a location where I'm creating a project. But initially I'm telling you slow, but later once you understand the environment, you want to speed up. This is okay now. Speed up. Speed up. No. Okay. Now you just write DJANGO admin. Yes, again start a project, and this is my project 3. Okay, start a project 3. So open the project. So where is manage.py in? Outside the project or within the project? Within the project. Where is manage.py? Not outside the project. The manage.py is there in within the project, not outside the project. Not outside the project. It is there within the project. Okay. Then right here, Python manage.py. What do you do it? Start application 1. Any name you can give. So what is my application name is application 1. Clear? Okay. So once you create an application, now this is your project. Now suppose you want to develop in where you want to develop in PyCharm. You want to develop in PyCharm. Then open the PyCharm. VS Code also I'll tell you. So what do you do? It open the project. Already you created project or not? Yes. So go to here, open. So open the project which you created here. Now DJANGO. What is our folder is? Yeah, your folder name. So this is a project. Just open this project. So project is opened, right? Yeah, this is your project. So in this project, now this is which folder? Application folder. This is which folder? Application folder. And this is which folder? Project folder. See here. What do you do here? You don't do anything. You just write the code. You just write the code and save it and run the server from where? Command prompt only. Okay, na? But I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later how to run from PyCharm, how to run the server from PyCharm, how to create project within the PyCharm later, not now. Okay, now what you are doing? Only writing the code. You are writing the code. Okay. Okay. Then next to open the application, and within the application, I'm creating what view. Now this is a view I created. This is a view which I created here. Okay. So this is a view which I created. Now it is given errors. Why it is given errors? Why it is given errors? Because this PyCharm is not configured with what? Django. Understood? This PyCharm is not configured with the Django. It means I'm developing this project by using one version. Which version I'm using? 3.13. But Django is installed in which version? 3.12. Yes or no? So is it Django is available for 3.13? No. So that's the reason don't think about these errors. Don't think about these errors. Okay? क्या बोलते हैं यार? इसको close करेंगे फिर. Okay. What you do is on the blank project 3. Within the project, what is there? Application 1 and one more is project 3. Okay. Open the application. Open what here? Views. Open in what? Notepad. I'm writing in Notepad. Understood? This is okay, right? This is okay? Okay. So what you do is you write. Otherwise you open. Just now I said no. Just open it. Okay. Just open. Just now I said open. Open directly your project in what? PyCharm. And write the code. No problem. Okay. Otherwise you open in Notepad. Otherwise open in Notepad. So there is a one view. There is one view which is called as a home. There's one view called which one? Home or index. This is called as which one? Index. So this is having, now view must have at least one parameter. And what is the name of the parameter here? Request. So view must have at least one parameter, and parameter is what? Request. So request is which type? A request. Who will create a request? Who will create a request? Who will create a request? Server. Server. You send a request. You don't create a request. होटल को जाके रिक्वेस्ट देते आप. ओके, आप लिखते क्या? You don't write it. You don't create a request. You place the request. Okay, you send a request. You give the input. Who will create the request? Server. Yesterday I said that. I showed you one picture. Okay, there is one. Okay, yesterday I said how. Okay, yesterday I said how this request is done here. Who's sending a request? Who's sending a request? Browser. Browser means client. Client is sending what here? Request. And who's creating a request object? Server. So it is creating a request object by storing all the request information or not? Yes. And then send it to which one? View. Who's creating a request object? Server. And creating a request object by the server and send it to what? View. Then who will create a response? Programmer. Who will create a response? Programmer. Request is created by server, but response has to be generated by programmer by creating object of which class? HTTP response. So this response is generated by whom? View. Means are you creating a response object or created by server? We are creating a response object. But who's creating a request object? Server. Who's creating a response object? Programmer. See here. So HTTP response is used to generate the output, and HTTP response is a predefined, and HTTP response is created by developer within view for generating output. So HTTP request object contain information sent by client to view. Server or what? View. HTTP request object is created by server and sent to what? View. So who create an HTTP request object? Server. Who create an HTTP response object? Client. Programmer for sending which one? Request. So this is your server. This is your server. This is your server. This can be called as WSGA server, which implement HTTP protocol. This is your WSGA server, which implement which protocol? HTTP protocol. So right now here I'm trying to put some. Now there is index. So what is there here? Index. So class type. Yes, that is what here? Class type. Okay. So index. And how can I generate a response? By saying from DJANGO dot what? HTTP import HTTP response. Import HTTP response. And here I'm just giving a page. Which page I should give? A index page. I can create an index page here or not? Yes, because I'm generating an index page by writing tags. Okay, now that tags you include one string. You include that inside one string. Getting on. So assume that this is the output. Now I'm writing in multi-lines. Okay, I'm writing here what? HTML. So what code I'm writing? What code I'm writing? HTML. Because in web development always the output or presentation is done in what? HTML. Your view is generating the output. Your view is generating the output by creating one HTML. I'm writing HTML. I'm writing what here? Some body. Okay, now just to define some. Okay. some color, okay, and then I'm saying this is H1, and this is which page here? Index page. So you are including which code in Python? You are including which code in Python? HTML code. You are including which code in the Python? HTML code. You are including HTML code in the Python. Okay. Yes. Now this is one page or not? Yes. So this page you are wrapping inside which object? HTTP response object. You are saying response. You are saying response. You can write in any case. You can write either in uppercase. You can write either in what? Lowercase. You can write either in uppercase or you can write either in what? Lowercase. So response equal to HTTP response by wrapping which code? HTML code. By wrapping which code? HTML code, right? And then return which one? Response. This response is given to the client or not? Yes. Understood? What do you say, yes or no? Later, it is not a good practice to write which code? HTML code in what? Python. You should write HTML code in which file? You'll write HTML file, not in Python. Then you separate this HTML code from which code? Python code. And you write in which file? HTML file. And that HTML file is called what? Template. That HTML file is called what? Template. It means there is a clear separation. You separate which logic? Presentation logic. This is which logic? HTML is for what? Presentation. So HTML is for presentation and you should write that presentation logic only in what? HTML file. But you are including in which file? Python file. Then maintaining becomes what? Complex. Can I see the preview? Preview is available or not available? Not available. I want to see how my templates look. Can I see the preview? No. If it is HTML, can I see the preview? Yes. And I can do the changes in presentation without doing changes in what? Request logic. Without doing changes in what? Request logic, or without doing changes in what? View. So maintaining your code becomes what here? Easy. Maintaining your code becomes what here? Easy. I'm not closed. Which one I'm not closed? Okay. Okay. HTML I should close. Okay. Oh, sorry. This one. Okay. So there is another one. This is which one? Index. This is the index. And after this index, now there is one more. What is that here? Products page. Products. This is for what again? One more view. Which view it is? A products view. And this is generating the output. Output equal to, so I'm writing in multi-line. I'm writing in multi-line by saying HTML. And then I'm saying body. Say I don't use more HTML. Okay. So if you know HTML, that presentation you should take care. So this is which page? Product page. This is a product page. And I close the H1 and I close what here? Body. And I close what here? HTML. And this is closed. Then I create a response. I create a response. Response equal to HTTP response. And you are wrapping response means you are converting the string into which object? Response object, because your server doesn't understand string. Your server understand which type? HTTP. So you are converting the string into which type here? HTTP, and that response you are giving to the server. And server is sending to whom? Client. Server is sending to whom? Client. Client is nothing but browser. Client is nothing but what here? Browser. Okay. So client is nothing but browser. Okay, right? What is a sing double quotes? You should learn Python again here. Okay. What is single, double, triple? If you don't know, then how here? Yes. So how many views I developed here? Two views I developed. Okay. So first step is you have to create the project. First step is you have to create the project. Yeah, you can write like that also. No problem. Okay. No problem. Okay. First thing is you have to develop the project. I'm copying here. So all are installed Django. Installed Django. Server is running. Server is running. Project is running. Not all. Uh, not all. If you don't practice, you don't get anything. You have to practice. Don't practice after completing Django. If you practice after completing Django, you don't get anything. Understood? Okay, practice on the same day so that everything becomes easy for you. Okay, na? So open views.py and write how many views. Open the views.py and write two views. I've written how many views here? Two views I've written. Okay. Then after that, what you do is you create, what you do it, you create urls.py at which level? Application level. So create urls.py. Open the project. In your project, you have what? Application. In application, you create one file. In application, you create one file. You create one file. And what is the name of this here? urls.py. You create one file. What is the name of this here? urls.py. Okay. Create this file. Where you create this file at? Application level. In application folder, inside the application folder, create a module or a Python program with the name. What is the name of that is? urls.py. urls.py. Okay. So now what I'm doing, I'm creating one file. So I'm writing directly in what? Notepad. Can you write in ideally? Array, can you write in ideally? Yes, you can write in what? Ideally. Pura malum rehna yaar. Array. You should know everything. Without editor, with editor, everything you should know it. New file. New file is created, right? This is what? New file. New file, what do you do it? Save. Where you save it? Django, project 3, go to project 3, go to application 1. What do you write? urls.py. See here. Kadam. Only PyCharm only you required. Only PyCharm you required. Anything you required. Anything. ऐसे नहीं सोचना कि मैं PyCharm रहे तो मैं कर दूं, नहीं तो नहीं कर दूं बोले तो चले जाओ बोलता हूं ना. Yes. You should know everything. I required only this means you don't get it. VS Code always you may get or you may not get. PyCharm is paid. Nobody will use. PyCharm is not free. PyCharm is what? Paid. If the company want to use PyCharm, they need to purchase. Okay. So if they don't have license, then you cannot do it by using what? PyCharm. Then what do you do it? VS Code. VS Code is free. Now suppose VS Code also they are not using it. Then what do you do it? IDLE. IDLE or not? Yes. That's it. Very simple here. So from what you have to import from DJANGO dot. From DJANGO dot, what is that? URLs. From DJANGO dot URLs, import. What do you import? Path. From DJANGO.urls, import what? Path. Import path. If any problem is there, go to project and here also you search. Okay, so is it this is correct or not? See here. How you are writing from DJANGO.urls. Import what here? Path. Imported or not? Huh? Then next, we have done this. Next, what you have to do? Tell me, next, what you have to do? You have to create one variable. What is the name of that variable? URL. URL. What is that? Patterns. Can I give any other name? Can I give any other name or only this name? Can I give any other name or only this name? Other name? No, you cannot give other name. You have to give only this name. Because these are the rules and regulations. Very honored. So you are suppose you send a request. You send a request, right? When you send a request with some URL or not? Yes. Where it is searching in urls.py. In which list it is searching for URL patterns? It is searching in which list? URL patterns. It is searching for one list whose name is what? URL patterns. If the name of the list is something else, is it understand or not understand? Not understand. So compulsory, you have to give the name as, you have to give the name of the URL. You have to give the URL patterns only with the name called URL patterns. You cannot give any other name. You cannot give any other name. Compulsory, you have to give the name as what? URL patterns. Here, URL patterns is the name of the list. So is it hyphen is there or no hyphen? No hyphen. Now this is the list. Inside the list, what do you define here? Path. So path followed by path, directly path or not? So what is the first one is path and it followed by what is path followed by what? URL pattern. Path followed by URL pattern. What is a URL pattern I'm giving? Home. I'm giving URL pattern as what? Home. Or if you want, you can give the same name. What is the name I've given? Index. And comma, what is the name of the view? Index. The name of the view is what? Index. Understood? So this is what you have given, path. So what is the path is given? So this is a URL pattern. So this is a URL pattern and this is what here? View. This is a URL pattern and this is what here? View. But where is this view? Where is this view? It is there where? Alright, this view is available where here? Views.py. This view is available in what? Views.py. You have to import or not? Yes. You have to import. How you import? From, okay. From, what do you import from? From app 1. From app 1. Because already you are in app 1 only. Already you are in which one? App 1 only. You are inside app 1. You are inside app 1 only. Okay, can I say from you are where? Inside app 1. Dot means what is dot indicates? Current folder. What is the dot indicates? Current. Or you can give, okay, any confusion is there? App 1 dot views import. App 1 dot views import what? Star. App 1 dot views import what? Star. You can also write here dot views. You can write app 1 dot views or you can write from views import what? Star. From views import star. Views, where it is looking for views? Current working direct. So this urls.py and views both are there in the same folder or not? Yes. So first preference is given to which one? Current working directory. First preference is given to which folder? Current working directory. Current working directory. So you can write like this. Okay, you can write like this. How you are writing it? Application 1 dot views import what here? Star. Comma, again I'm writing one more path. Now this is a path for which one? Products. How you are accessing the products? What is the name of the view? Product. So close the list. Now within this list, you have defined how many URL patterns? 2. But this is at which level? This is at which level? Application level. This is at application level. You define this at which level? Application level. Understood? Okay, then if you write it application level, is it your server search for the URL pattern at application level or project level? Project level. So entry point is what? Project, not application. Okay. At project level, it search for these URLs. Then you have to include these URLs at which level? Project level. This URLs has to be included at which level? Project level. Then open urls.py at which level? Project level. Now I'm saying here from DJANGO.urls import path comma. What is that? Include. Path comma what here? Include. I said here include. Then this here you define the URL pattern. You define the URL pattern to access the URL patterns at which level? Application level. Application level URLs you access with what name? I just give the URL pattern name as what? Application 1. What is the pattern I've given? Application 1. Then how you access it? Application 1 slash index. Application 1 slash index. Application 1 slash product. Understood? So comma, what you are writing here? Include. Comma, include. What you are including? Application 1 dot URLs. Application 1 dot URLs. That's all. Understood? So it means you are accessing urls.py. You are accessing this URLs. What is the first URL is? Index. Okay, this is index. Okay, what is the name of this URL? Index. And this is mapped with which view? Index view. And what is the second one is? Products. And this is mapped with which view? Product view. Then whenever you want to call this index, then how you call it? By saying application 1 slash. What is that? Index. Application 1 slash index. Next, how you call this products? Application 1 dot. What is the name of this URL? Products. Understood? So this is URL pattern. To access the URLs defined at which level? Application level. This is a URL pattern. To access the URLs defined at which level? Application level. Understood? What is a yes or no? Okay. Then next is, so you have to include this at project level by using what? Include. So it is a list, and in list each value is separated with a comma. So don't forget to separate with what? Comma. So here also I put what here? Comma, right? So I save this. Now both are saved. You can open in Notepad. You can open in what? IDLE. Over. Next is install the application. Open settings.py. And then install what here? Application. So what is your application is? Application 1. Install the application by giving application 1. So install the application. After installing the application, next is what? Run the server. Okay, after installing the application, run the server by saying python manage.py run server. Can you change the port number? Yes, 8080 or anything you can give. 1, 2, 3, 4. No problem. Okay, any number you can give. Don't think that I should give 8 only. 8 is reserved for HTTP. Because of that, it starts with what? 8. So what is a port number is an integer number. It is a 16-bit integer number. 16-bit integer number means your port numbers can be given range from 1 to 65,536. From 1 to what? 65,536. Any number you can give. But if some of the servers already reserved or some services are already running in your system, and if any port number is reserved, that you cannot use it. That you cannot use it. So run the server. And if you have any errors, see here, if you have any errors, it will show you at which level. If any errors are there, it will show you at which level? Server side. Okay, right? Any errors are there. So there is an error. Is there is an error or no error? Error is there. So there is an error. So what is the error is? What is the error is? Syntax error does not match opening parenthesis. Where it is error is in? Where error is in? urls.py. At which level? Project 3. Just open urls.py at which one? Project. What is the error is here? We have to close the path. Here we open the path, right? Parenthesis is open and parenthesis should be closed. Understood? So don't just run server. Don't run the server and open browser and send. Check any errors are there or not. Is the server is running successfully or not? Is it server is running successfully or not? So one more error is there. What is the name of this? It is saying that this view is not available. What it's saying it is? This view is not available. But this view is there or not there? There or not there? There. What is the name of the view? Product. See here. Application 1. Just open the view. So what is the name of the view? Product or products? Products. But what is the name of the view I've given? Product. Error or not? Yes. Then you rectify. Open urls.py. Open urls.py and change this to what here? Products. Because my view name is what? Products. Now when you save it, automatically it will run. See here. You can see. Okay, you can see any errors at server side now. Any errors are there or no errors? No errors. If no errors, then only open browser. अभी थोड़े लोग क्या करते खाली सर्वर रन करके ब्राउजर में चले जाते. Then they'll start sending what request. No output. Why? Is it your application is deployed successfully or unsuccessfully? Unsuccessfully. If your project is deployed unsuccessfully, is it take any request? No. You need to see that there should not be any errors. You should see that there should not be any errors in your project. But where you get all the errors? You get the errors at server side. When you run the server, it will show you all the errors. Read the errors and rectify the errors. Okay, then now, now open the browser and type the URL. Just type it. Now it's saying page not found. And how many URLs are available? Only 2. One is admin application and one is application 1. What do you do it? Application 1 dot slash application 1 slash what? Index. Now this is which page now? Index page. Now this output is given by which view? Index view. Okay, right. Then next is which view? Products. So there is a view called products, and this is which page? Product page. Understood? So this is configuring URLs at which level? Application level, and including at which level? Project level. Understood? Right? So I'll just copy the complete code here. So inside application folder, create a modular Python program with urls.py. So in that urls.py, in that urls.py, okay, you write what URL patterns. So now this is giving URL patterns at which level? Application level. So include URLs defined at which level? Application level at which level? Project level. So open urls.py. Open urls.py exist at which level? Project level. Okay, so this is urls.py, which is there at which level? Project level. Now here you are including URLs defined at which level? Application level. Okay, in project level. Okay, then next install what here? Applications. So open settings dot what? Py. Open settings.py and install the application. So where is the settings.py is in project package and open this settings.py. Open the settings.py and install the application. Okay. So what is your application is application 1. And after that, run the server. Run the server. Okay. Try to see that there should not be any errors at which side? Server side. Run the server. So Python manage dot py run server. Now when you run the server, you have any errors at server side? No. So now just run the server, and after executing the server, now you send what here? Request. Send the request by opening which one? Browser. Okay, send a request by opening the browser. Okay. So next one is open the browser. Open the browser. Open the browser. So open the browser and send a request by typing what here? URL. So that is nothing but, so I just copy this URL here. So type this URL in application 1/index. Now is it executed or not? Yes? Understood? Okay. So this is defining URLs at which level? Application level. But you define URL patterns in different ways. Okay, URL pattern means URL name. You can give a URL name as a string. You can give the URL as a regular expression. Now tomorrow I'll tell you how to define a URL using regular expression, and we'll see some more concepts. Okay, na? But up to this, it's clear, right? All of you, yes or no here? Okay, please try to practice this. Okay, please try to practice. And if you have any doubts, you can ask tomorrow. Right. So today we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue this. Right. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see that. How to add HTML file. Code already I pasted in the document. Code is already pasted in the document. Code already pasted in the document. Okay. You ask your online admin. Online admin is there, no? You ask our online admin. बोलो यार. आपके प्रोजेक्ट में बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशन है, पूरा एक एक जगह लिखे तो कंफ्यूज हो जाता है. ओ, उसका यूआरएल्स उधर ही लिख रहे हैं आप, उधर लिख के वो फाइल को कहाँ पे इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं आप, प्रोजेक्ट लेवल लिख रहे हो. क्यों बोलो तो सपोज मेरे प्रोजेक्ट में एक 100 व्यूज है, ओके, पूरा प्रोजेक्ट लेवल में लिखे तो कंफ्यूज हो जाता, बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट. यस, सपोज